Hey friends, welcome to this brand new video dedicated to Garten of Banban 8. Only 10 days remain until the release of the new chapter, and these days will be absolutely crucial. The hype is through the roof, and all of us fans can't wait to discover what awaits us behind the doors of the creepiest kindergarten in the gaming world. But there's something even more important. This week will be fundamental because the EUPHORIC brothers will release something truly huge to accompany the countdown. Probably the countdown pictures and more other. In this video, we will try to figure out together what's coming, analyzing all the possibilities and the most exciting theories that are circulating online. The fact that we are only 10 days away from the release means that every detail, every small clue could hide an important piece of the story. Let's remember that Garten of Banban 8 will probably be one of the most ambitious chapters in the series, so the developers can only be preparing something big to grab our attention right now. Are you ready for the new chapter? Are you ready to meet new creatures, explore new areas, and most of all discover the darkest secrets hiding behind Banban and his monstrous friends? Write it in the comments because I'm really curious to read your theories and expectations. But before we continue, let me say something important. If you enjoy my videos and don't want to miss any update about Garten of Banban 8, remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. It's the best way to stay updated and support my work. On this channel, there will be tons of new content, analysis, gameplay, and theories about the new chapter, so turn on the notification bell to never miss anything. Alright friends, now it's time to dive together into the hottest community theories and try to understand what the EUPHORIC brothers will really release in the coming days. Now let's get into the heart of the discussion and start with something that everyone is waiting for, the countdown images. I had already theorized this for last week, but as we now know, Chapter 8 was postponed from the 21st of August to the 28th of August. This change completely shifted the EUPHORIC brothers' schedule, and in fact, the countdown images were not released as initially expected. Instead, we only received a short official video in which the developers announced the change of the release date. That decision surprised many fans because everyone was expecting to begin the countdown with the classic images that usually accompany us toward the release of the game. But now, the situation is different. The new date of the 28th of August has been set definitively, and there is no longer any doubt there will be no further delays. So we can say with some certainty that this week the countdown images will finally be released. If we follow the logic of past releases, it is very likely that the first image will be published on the 21st of August, exactly 7 days before the official release. This formula has been used several times in the past and has always worked well to keep the community's anticipation alive. However, there is one interesting detail that could change everything. A few days ago, Faris said that the countdown would be released soon. This statement leaves open the possibility that the EUPHORIC brothers might start releasing the images even before the classic 7-day mark. If that happens, it would mean that in the coming days, we could already get the first visual previews of Chapter 8. And this would make the wait even more intense. We must remember that the countdown images are not just simple posters or illustrations. They often contain hidden details, small clues that can anticipate the new areas of the game, the new characters, and even some key elements of the story. Each image is therefore doubly important because on one hand it accompanies the fans through the countdown, and on the other, it adds a layer of mystery that pushes us to theorize and speculate about what awaits us. That is why this week will be truly crucial. The countdown images are not only a way to mark the time until release, but they become an integral part of the waiting experience. They are like small silent trailers, visual messages that set the stage for Chapter 8 and gradually prepare us for the atmosphere we will soon live in. Now, I want to share with you my own theory about what could appear in one of the countdown images. In the past few days, in fact, Geppo, one of the two developers, started writing some countdown messages directly on Discord. These were short sentences, but very meaningful for those who follow every little clue carefully. For example, just yesterday he wrote that there were 11 days left and that, at the end of this countdown, Flambo would come out of the closet. A simple phrase, but one that holds a huge meaning for the story. We know very well that Flambo is the main mascot of Chapter 8. He is a character who has been at the center of many theories for months and months, but one that we have never actually seen in action so far. His appearance has always been hinted at, postponed, kept hidden to build suspense. Only now finally, with the arrival of Chapter 8, Flambo will come out of the closet where he has been imprisoned for all these years. This detail changes a lot in how we should interpret the upcoming hints. Because the developers want to make us understand that his time has truly come. And this is exactly why I think one of the countdown images could show Flambo's closet. It wouldn't be the first time this object appears. We have already seen it in the first teaser trailer of Chapter 8, where the closet was shown in a very unsettling shot. Moreover, it also appeared again at the end of Chapter 0, when Banban locked Flambo inside it. All these elements together create a logical connection. If the EUPHORIC brothers want to fuel the hype and make us understand that Flambo's moment is really close, the most obvious choice would be to show us once again the closet through a countdown image. On the one hand, it would be a direct reference to past events, a link with Chapter 0 and everything that happened before. On the other hand, it would be an unmistakable sign that Flambo is about to make his definitive entrance. It would be an image capable of connecting past, present and future, reminding us that the whole saga has always followed a consistent narrative thread that now reaches a turning point. Let's not forget that the EUPHORIC brothers have always used the countdown images not just as simple previews, but as real pieces of story to decode. That's why I don't believe they will choose random or meaningless images. On the contrary, I think that every image will be directly connected to the role that Flambo will have in Chapter 8, and that his imprisonment in the closet will be a central theme of these countdown images. The question we must ask is, what will happen right after Banban opens the closet? The encounter will be full of tension, because Banban is not a neutral character in Flambo's story. On the contrary, he is the one who forced him to live in isolation for years. It is therefore plausible that Flambo harbors a deep resentment towards him, a feeling that could immediately manifest itself in the form of hostility. In this sense, my theory is that as soon as he is free, Flambo will react with anger and attack Banban. However, I don't think he will go as far as eliminating him, because we know for sure that Banban will continue to play an active role throughout Chapter 8. Instead, Flambo could deliver a targeted strike to injure him further, taking advantage of the fact that Banban is already weakened due to the clash with Sir Dadadu and the Notifieds. Banban is definitely not in the best condition to face a fight. He is vulnerable, exhausted, and reduced to the limit of his strength. This situation opens the possibility for a very intense scene. Flambo, full of repressed anger, strikes Banban, but without taking the conflict to its ultimate consequences. The attack could simply serve to secure his freedom, giving him the chance to escape and move away in search of new objectives. In this way, the dynamic between the two characters would become even more intriguing. Banban would remain alive and present in the plot, but marked by a painful and conflicted relationship with Flambo, while Flambo himself would establish himself as a new unpredictable force in the world of Chapter 8. Such a narrative choice would be perfectly consistent with the style of the EUPHORIC brothers. They have never presented the mascots simply as monsters to defeat, but have always given them a precise narrative role, often tied to a dark past and to complex bonds with other characters. The confrontation between Banban and Flambo could therefore become a cornerstone of Chapter 8, not as a final battle, but as the beginning of a conflict destined to grow throughout the adventure. Ultimately, the moment Flambo steps out of the wardrobe will probably be one of the most significant of the entire game. It will not mark the end of Banban, but it will signal the beginning of a new phase, in which Banban and Flambo will be bound by a relationship of hostility and, at the same time, of shared destiny, destined to influence every event of Chapter 8. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.